Coach, what's going on? It's Coach Ian Tatum here, back with the Tatum Clinic series. I'm here with head coach Pine Lake Prep here in North Carolina, Austin Trotter. Coach, how you doing? And let's get into the video.
Hey, doing good, man. Appreciate you having me on. Glad we could do this. Glad you're putting this on for everybody. Awesome day of being able to sit here and learn from a lot of great coaches.
Heck yeah. So you want to go ahead and share your screen, present, Coach?
Yep. Let's see. I think I remember how to do this now. Share screen. Entire screen.
So right now, Coach, you bring your notebooks out. Get ready.
All right, hold on. You got this?
Yes, sir. You got it.
All right, let's see. Slide. Where's my? All right, so we got that going there. Okay. So, just like Coach said, I'm Austin Trotter. I'm the head football coach at Pine Lake Prep. We're a K-12 charter school in Mooresville, North Carolina. There's my info. Hit me up all the time. That's my personal email, so no matter what, it's always there. We're going to go ahead and kind of jump into what this topic is, and it's talking about using the same scheme regardless of what your backfield talent is. This really came after my first year, and I probably should have put this slide first. Year one, we went 4-7. We tried to force our players to really fit into a predetermined scheme. It was my first year as a head coach. Okay, I made a mistake. I'm big enough to admit it. That year we had a freshman quarterback, a 14-year-old, 5'9", 170-pound freshman center. We were starting a lot of sophomores and guys who hadn't played in a year or two, and we really struggled. I mean, we went 4-7, but 1 week we'd score 64 points, and then the next 2 weeks we got outscored. I think it was 109-0, 2 weeks in a row. So it was really kind of an up and down season. So after that season, 2019, and then of course COVID hits and we have a little bit more time, we did a lot of reflection upon that season. Just who we are. We're a small school with small numbers. At the time we were a 1A school. We're 2A now because of the way the classification works, but we're still kind of a 1A school. Typically we're playing 24 to 26 players on a Friday night. We'll have a bigger roster than that, but those are the guys that are actually getting on the field. Our talent varies greatly year to year, and we must be flexible. We wanted to do something that was simple and consistent for the OLs. They take longer to develop, and we haven't had a JV program. We've had a partial JV the past 2 years. Played 4 games 1 year and 2.5 till lightning stopped us this past year, but we don't have a full-time JV. So we need something that can kind of get these guys that can help with their development. All of our O-line cross-trained, and we typically only have about 6 or 7 linemen that are truly playing for us on Friday nights per season. Not only small in numbers, but small in size. The past 3 years, our biggest lineman has been 6'2", 250. Our other linemen are in the 200 to 215, 220 range. So we don't have big maulers. We don't have 6'6", 6'7", 280, 300-pound guys. I'd love to, but it's just not what we have. So what we did is we chose 2, and there's a little asterisk, and you'll get into this as more as we do this. Schemes to focus heavily on. One's our gap, which there are a ton of variations to this that we go over. And then the other is our zone, which is not a traditional inside zone at all. It's a loose term, but really it's something that as we get into it, you'll be able to see more. How we choose to utilize those run concepts depends greatly upon our backfield talent. Our quarterbacks and our running backs, really kind of dictate what we do. But most importantly, we want to be the most physical team that you play. That's something that we pride ourselves on. We want you to feel it the next day. We want those guys getting out of bed on a Saturday morning, sore and hurting and feeling like they've, just been in a 12-round fight. And I think by, the way that we've established our run game allows us to play that way. Even though we're smaller, it allows us to play as the most physical team that a lot of teams play all year. Going back to the 5-year view, year 1, 4-7. Years 2 through 5, we've gone 31-11. Of those 11, I believe there's 4 losses there by 6 points or less. 4 4 straight playoff berths, multiple playoff wins, conference championship. And we've done this with 3 different starting quarterbacks with widely varying skill sets and 3 different starting running backs who, again, are very different in their skills. First quarterback was I'll be honest with you, if I could create a quarterback on the NCAA, it would have been this guy. He's 6'2", 220 pounds, ran a 4.65, super strong arm, likes to run inside. He's honestly the most talented quarterbacks I've ever coached. He can make all the throws. But he was a little inexperienced. It was only 1 year as a starter. He came to us as a senior during COVID, which, we didn't have any summer real prep. Fall was hit or miss. We had a 2-week preseason camp before we started into the season. The next quarterback was actually the kid that we had as a quarterback my first year as a freshman. We moved into wide receiver as a sophomore, and then he came back to quarterback his junior and senior years. 5'10", 175, 4'8". He definitely is not a guy that I'm going to run B gap to B gap. And he also, threw better on the move, wasn't a great pocket guy. And then the last guy was a kid who was a great kid, smart, understood the offense, was a game manager at times, type, 5'11", 160, 4'9", not a runner, didn't have the arm that the other two had, so we really had to adjust how we utilized him. If looking at the running backs, the first year the kid was a converted wide receiver, tough. But again, there's no speed here, and he's not some 220-pound back. The second year, again, not a fast back, real shifty but not fast. Great vision, as you'll see on some of the clips. He could also catch the ball. And then the kid we had this past year, 5'7", and that may be stretching it a little bit, 185, 4'6" range. But when I say strong, pound for pound, the strongest kid on the team, he was deadlifting 500 pounds. Extremely physical, could not catch to save his life. And just kind of give you an idea of the offense those years. And I prefer to kind of do these things and teach off film versus drawing it all up. But just kind of give you guys an idea. Quarterback 1, we were in a lot of 10, 11, 12 personnel sets. Our quarterback was our leading rusher. And our quarterback and our running back were 1 and 2 in the conference in rushing. The next year, we graduated everybody but our center and our running back from that offense. And that year we were, I think 4 weeks, we led the entire state of North Carolina in scoring. We were really potent on offense. So the next year we had to completely change how we did everything. We were in a lot of 11, 20, and 21 sets. Our starting left tackle and left guard were both freshmen. The center returned. The right guard was a senior who had never played football before, and the right tackle was a sophomore who had never played offensive line before. So we were very, very inexperienced up front. But our offense shifted to more of an option focus. Coastal Carolina, now Liberty influences. If you guys were here for the first session, you saw a lot of that stuff. And then the third time that we're going to talk about stuff was this past season. If you haven't seen the video I did on the different formations and personnel groups, man, we come out in a ton of different stuff. Our running back led the state in the regular season in rushing. And, we kind of complemented the offense with a lot of play action and RPOs. Now, let me get out of this. Coach, if you're good. And I'm going to switch over to some film here. So our primary run set, our primary run, and we kind of it's based off of a gap scheme. For us, it's counter, dart, GT counter, using an H-back. All of it's the same philosophy for us. We want to build a wall, and we want to kick. And if we got a second guy coming, he's wrapping the hole to pick up any trash. But that's our mentality. Block everybody down, build this wall. Whoever's pulling and kicking, you're coming as fast as you can, and your job is to try to lay him out. That allows us to play physical. We're not taking short steps here to try to make sure that we're in our zone tracks like I used to do years and years ago. I want this to be downhill and physical. So this is that first season that I was talking about. This is a dart play for us. Really, it's like T counter if I tagged it that way. And you can see here, we're just trying to form that wall. We're kicking. There's our path. Now, I know this guy is unblocked right here. And you'll see why with our quarterback being a mobile quarterback, a lot of times it froze teams, and we were able to utilize that. This kid never played running back before. He was a receiver. Later on this drive, you can see here, let me clean that dot off. Receivers wide, point everybody out. They're going 3 over 2, taking him out. Okay, so we're trying to lighten the box as much as we can. Dart to the left. Now we're going to use that 6'2", 220 fullback playing quarterback straight downhill. Our H-back kicks out. The tackle wraps. This wasn't something that we called. Okay, we just kind of taught it to our guys. You know, if you have a good angle, then I let the H kick out and let the tackle wrap, and he just kind of had to adjust on the fly. If that end was real tight, then he's going to try to block down, and we'll just get outside with the tackle here. But instead, works perfect right there. I'm not going to go through 20 clips per season, but I do want to show you guys just kind of how this changed over the course of a couple seasons. Now, I also realized my right tackle has a terrible stance. This kid was not an offensive lineman. He was a good athlete. This is the only way I could get him into any semblance of a stance. All right, so this play right here I really like. Now, this is we call this there's a Brad call here, which is a backer read call. Now, I'm not showing you guys perfect clinic tape. Okay, there's going to be some miscues on here, some things that aren't quite right. Our back should take a counter step to come through on this, but he runs it too fast, but it still works for us. Tackle's going to pull, all right, and our quarterback is reading the middle linebacker. If he over pursues, quarterback's going to pull it, and he's going to replace him right down the middle. And this is why having a bigger quarterback, we can run this. All right, I'll run it through one time, and you can kind of see what happens. Okay, so as he pulls, he's watching. All right, he gets sucked up inside. Now he replaces. So it's the same play. It's dart to the left. Okay, but now we've added a backer read for it when you have a bigger quarterback in there. Same game. This is against a team in our conference that's really, really successful year in and year out. A lot of high-level players. Now this is a TH counter. Dart with the H following behind it. Again, what we're trying to do is build a wall. Build a wall. 54 should kick. 17 should wrap the hole. And I love here at the end of the play, he's saying run it again. He knows, all right, we're just leaning on him heavy right here. Boom. There we go. All right, the next one now, we're going to read this. Again, not perfect clinic tape, okay? Our H-back should be releasing outside here. Instead, he gets caught up. But our quarterback is reading the backside edge. All right? He sees him inside. Now he pulls. Now, if we would have blocked the safety like we should have, this could have been a lot bigger gain, but it's second down. All right, and we pick up 5 on it. I'll take that. Sets us up 3rd and 5. Now, last clip from this season, this group that I want to show you has a good play action off of it. I'm a firm believer that if you want to be really, really good at play action, you need to pull your offensive lineman. We pull our tackle, all right, on this. Now, set the scenario for this. This is against a team that just won back-to-back state championships the past 2 years. This a couple seasons ago during COVID. We were the 3 seed. They were the 6 seed. There's like 6 minutes left in the game. The score's tied 27-27. We're backed up on our own 11. And we run our kind of like a deep over play action concept here. We're going to get the same look. We're going to get that tackle pull. Okay, freeze the backers. Keeps these guys down. Eyes are in the backfield. Expecting a run in this situation. Great throw by the quarterback. This kid had never played football, the receiver here, until this year. And actually, it's like his 3rd game because of he played basketball when we weren't allowed to have him playing 2 sports at once. So that's the end of that season. Coach, you got anything for me yet?
No, sir, you're good.
Okay. So now we're going to jump into the next season. Like I said, we graduated a lot of different guys. And we had to completely change the backfield that we had and the way that we ran stuff, but we kept the plays up front the same. This is still counter. This is still block down and form a wall and then kick. Now, again, remember, freshman, junior, senior never played, sophomore never played OL. There's some mistakes on here. Not great technique, but again, I hate going to a clinic and we got all our best players from the whole season on there and like, okay, let's see the real stuff. So we're running what we call counter option, which is a swap concept here. We're swapping responsibilities. So now the offset back is going to ride across for the counter fake. We're going to pull, kick this edge, and you'll see, all right, the backer flies over on that counter, on the fake to the fullback here. Now, we should be ear-holing him and kicking him to the sidelines. Give the quarterback a lane to run through. Unfortunately, he logs this. Now the quarterback's kind of in a no man's land of where do I go because he's anticipating a true kick. Probably should have pitched the ball since we had the angle already. But I think he had it in his mind that he was going to have to keep it. So instead, he just kind of becomes a good athlete. As you can see, good in the open field, gives a receiver free safety, started it free, even playing quarterback. We'll run that one back. But it's still counter. We're still forming a wall. We're still pulling and kicking. But now we've changed the entire backfield action based upon the personnel that we have this year. Receivers trying to block downfield. Hopefully Coach Clark would like that. All right. Now, and I'm not showing you just the same play over and over and over in these. I'm showing you different variations of how we did it. Now, this is true just counter right for us. Okay, there's no option tag to this. So we're going to fake across. The guard's going to pull, kick. We're blocking down, and now we're handing it to the back, coming back this way. Like I said, the kid wasn't overly fast. It's very shifty, but you'll see here. I'll pause it. All right. Backers are already confused. They're getting ready to run into each other here. Blocking down, freshman guard, who's now one of the best defensive ends in the state, is wrapping the hole. It's still counter, but entirely different look. All right. That's just regular counter option. This is definitely kind of getting some of that coastal look. We're running this to the left. This, the pistol back is the dive back fake on this. Our offset's going to backpedal and get outside for pitch. Tackle kind of freezes up. Again, freshman kids still kind of learning what to do here. Pass sets him pretty much. We get lucky. Now what should happen, again, not perfect clinic tape, blocking here. All right, the slot should be working to the hash safety. All right, because ideally we would pitch off of here. But he keeps it. Now, this is kind of some shades of what we've done this past year. We are in a super heavy set here. We've got 6 offensive linemen on the field. The tight end to the field is actually only our starting right tackle. And then we have an H-back offset here with 2 backs. Everybody should be down. He should be working. The H-back should be working to this front side backer. He attacks here and actually gets knocked down. Guard pulls. And you'll see the counter option off of this. All right. So we're giving that fake to get the backer's eyes here to try to freeze them to give time for the counter. Now, we're going to get the kick. Pitch. Wide receivers downfield blocking. All right. So even though that this isn't a perfect play, our H-back gets knocked on the ground, we're not picking up exactly where we need to be. The option elements that most teams are not used to having to defend anymore come into play. Because look, nobody's on pitch. They're all coming for quarterback. Flips it out, and we pick up another 15 to 20 yards off of that. Okay. All right, so that was that first run from there. So let me get back out of this one. And now we'll go to what we did this past year. And you'll see the evolution again, hopefully. Okay. So We are in a twins to the boundary, tight end, split back. Remember, this guy's 4'9". He's not a great runner, but we can still utilize just to sell it sometimes. This was the kid that led the state in rushing. This was our kind of our utility guy, backup quarterback, wildcat quarterback, running back, started at linebacker for us. This is clinic tape here now. Boom. I couldn't draw it up any better. That's the wall that we want to build. And we've got a guy pulling and kicking. All right, so I'll let it run full speed now. And then we hit it. All right. Different look now. Now we're going unbalanced. Tight end's covered up. Twins to the field. Little go-go action back here. Selling ISO, which is something that we do run, but the gap schemes that we run is predominantly, it's a huge part of what we do. And then kind of going back to our conversation that we had on that video that one day, when you can formation teams, you get it running all over the place, especially with a little bit of tempo. And now here's our big lineman pulling, trying to find grass, trying to find somebody. This is a 4-yard game. Okay. It's 2nd and 7. I'll take 4 yards. And then he just is a great running back. Super strong. The first guy's not bringing him down. All right. This is actually the same game. So this is one of my favorite personnel groups. We have 6 offensive linemen on the field and an H-back. We're going to run counter to the right. This is a GH counter. Kick, wrap, hit the hole. Great play by him. Okay. But again, we can run this out of so many different formations. The rules always stay the same. If you're on the line, you're blocking inside gap. Block everything down. We're going to kick. We're going to wrap if we have a second guy. So no matter the formation, the personnel group, any of that stuff, it doesn't change for them. And that's what allows us to play so multiple. Here's another great one. Okay, so unbalanced tight end down here, split back. Now we're going to run GT counter. 34 is going to cross, try to get the backers to hold. And then 11 is going to follow his boys in the promised land here. But wall, kick, wrap. Follow your tackle. Another variation. This is actually dart. So again, we're back in our 6th O lineman. All right, H back down here to the field. Tackle is pulling on this one to the field. Now, 24 does a great job. Okay. He squeezes this down perfectly. Makes it hard. Our running back, exceptional player. Okay, tackle comes, foot in the ground, and he gets vertical. All right, so we'll go full speed now. They do a good job of squeezing it. Get vertical, get downhill. Now, we're going to show kind of the evolution of what we've done. So, the first year, it was a lot of quarterback run, all right, complement. The next year, we went to more option-based principles, using that pitch man as the threat. Now, we don't have a running quarterback, okay? And the quarterback in the next 2 clips is actually a freshman. He's going to be our starting quarterback this coming fall. So you'll see here's our RPOs off of this. So we're going to run counter to the left. Now our H, instead of following and wrapping, is actually releasing up the seam. Okay, we're reading the backside linebacker. So instead of this being like a Brad call where is the quarterback going to ride across and pull and run it, now we're going to ride the back and we're going to throw it off of it. Now, as a freshman, do I think maybe he made this decision pre-snap or something? Possibly. But again, you can see the backers are up tight, so maybe they already had his eyes there too. Pulls it, throws it, boom. First down, we get, 9 yards on that? Now, same drive. Sorry. Okay, ball's on the 6. All right, we go spread, try to get as many guys out of the box, anticipating man coverage, just try to thin the box as much as we could. Now we're going to run counter right, but the RPO on this one is going to be slant to the backside. He's reading the backer. Good quick release. All right. Backer comes up. Fired in there.
Coach, got a question.
Yep.
And I don't want to throw you off the game real quick, but just being nosy, do you not have a call sheet? I'm looking at you on the sideline. You calling it from the head?
Oh yeah. No, there's a call sheet, but it's a security blanket.
I got you.
Making it is what does it for me, and it's there.
Yeah.
But no, I'm pretty much calling everything from the head.
I got you. All right, good.
All right, so that's kind of the evolution of the 3 years, and then I'll stop sharing real quick if you want to talk, and then I got something else that I kind of added to the back end of this.
Yeah, I was just looking, and I saw, I didn't see a call sheet, and you have all your variations, and I'm sure you've been doing this for a while, so I was looking at it and want to ask that question.
Yeah, I mean, I do have one, and it's a single sheet, and then the backside is more special teams guys and depth and all those things. But yeah, it's on there. Some other coaches are like, Coach, you don't have all this detailed out. And I'm like, guys, like you said, I've been doing this for over 20 years and calling plays for over a decade. So it's kind of second nature to me. But it's there just as a security blanket. Now, yeah, I'm going to get to the second part. I wasn't going to do this because I wasn't sure time-wise initially with the 30 minutes. So this is the part where I talk about the zone stuff. So let me go back and share that screen again. Just to be able to get into this. Now, all right, you got the huddle screen back up?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So, and I can show this best out of our 2 H-back, and that's why I went ahead and combined this. So this 2 H-back set is something that came about back in spring of 21, our first game of the year. Most teams moved to Thursday, but the team we were playing had like 6 players playing basketball, and they couldn't play on Thursday. So we had to play on Friday night in the middle of a monsoon. When I say monsoon, I'm literally, it was raining sideways. You can't even see the field on the film. So we wanted to put in something, we knew the weather was going to be bad. And we were 1 for 3 passing that game. I didn't even try to. It was awful. And it was this 2 H-back set that we wanted to put in. So I know we've talked about this. Is this duo? Is this not duo? Is this inside zone? Is this something else? Here's how I look at it. The rules for my offensive line are we block down and make a wall. And then we pull somebody and kick, and there may be a second person to wrap. It's the same play. It's just now I'm using the H-backs as the kick wrap guys instead of the offensive lineman. So for the guard, he's just treating it like, it's dart. The tackle's blocking back like it was counter. I mean, everybody else does the same stuff. The front side of the play is the exact same as the front side for counter, dart, GT, whatever. So instead, we've just replaced the pull and kick with an F and H. And this is one of the best views of it. So you've got 3 down linemen, middle linebacker walked up 3-4. All right. We're going to block. End runs himself upfield. We kick. Now we wrap the hole. Okay. Show that again. I mean, this is clinic tape here now. We're moving people off the ball. We're getting downhill. This was actually the one that we talked about that time. I just didn't show the clip from it. So now we just came out of a timeout, and it's a close game against a conference rival. We are in 6 offensive linemen with 2 H-backs. They hadn't seen this formation. We kind of called them. We got a lot of guys to the field behind with the 2 H's. We pull them. Now quarterback keeps. Right? So look how many guys commit to this. Right? Safety's coming downhill here. We're making a wall. We're kicking and wrapping. Quarterback sticks it in there. The very next play, now we're giving it to the back. Run it back for you again. And look, formationally, I know there's a lot of gaps here. Again, this is where we talk about playing with tempo and using a lot of formations and variety of personnel groups plays, into your hand as well when you can do this stuff. With super simple rules up front, it allows you to get into a lot of different looks that confuses the defense and doesn't give them time to get properly aligned. This right here was basically the game-winning play from the conference championship game, and it shows that we don't always run away from the H's. Because I know the first couple clips you've seen it. Okay, well, let's just set the strength away. This one we don't, and we flash the back. All right, so we flash the back. We get a lot of movement towards him. They're blocking down. They're kicking and wrapping, even though they're not coming from the opposite side of the field. It's the same play in the way that we teach it. And then you just have a dude at quarterback, which, we don't all have or ever get again. All right. So I always have to include this clip anytime I talk about this stuff because of just the scenario around it. This is the next year, different guys in the backfield. We're running the same type play. But what was unique about this one is I'm actually at home with COVID. And I'm watching the game on our YouTube live stream. And I'm texting my assistant head coach who's filling in for me as head coach and OC. And I'm like, hey, I need you to do this. And we hadn't practiced this. Again, it's one of those we've talked about. We hadn't practiced about bringing the receiver over and running this play. I said, just trust me. I'm seeing it on the live stream. Now, it looks terrible. We don't do a good job right here with this H. These guys do a good job. He should be kicking. Luckily, he runs himself out of the play because he just kind of stands there, as opposed to he should be kicking. He should be wrapping through. 22 does his job. 15 is a little lost. But still, we end up with a great play after this. Now, here's our shifty quarterback. Heavy set, tight into the field. 2 H's here. We're going to flash across and run this. Again, this team is really, really good. And, they beat us in this one. But we were able to hurt them on this. That motion alone right there is freezing or getting them to fly out, get them out of alignment. Now we're able to take advantage of it. He just gets in. Now we're going to run this from pistol. Twins up top covered. Counter back to it. Right. So for me, this is still a counter play. I know it. We're not pulling a lineman, but these guys are serving that role. So for us, it's the same thing when we talk about how it's blocked up front. I'll show you a few more of these, and I'll show you a play off of it too. Now, here's a good one from they just split, not always on the same way. Kick, wrap. There we go. I don't know what that is. There's a couple plays from the same drive. Like I said, kid was a good shifty runner for us. Same thing from pistol. I'm trying to get, here's quarterback running it down here in the red zone. All right. And these are really, really good if you have an athletic quarterback that can help hold the backside edge with the threat of him running it. And then when teams don't honor it, you take advantage of it this way. Everybody goes with the back. And that kid just happens to see it and gets there late, but we still score. Now, double H running traditional counter, kind of like super counter here. We're in our Davidson set, so it's tight end, 2 slot backs, could be H backs, however you want to do it. All right, with our running back running counter to the left. So rules are everybody's blocking down. Wrap. All right, again, you can see this. All right, very next play. And I'm a firm believer, if I hurt you with something, guess what? We're going up tempo, and I'm going to line up in the same formation and run the same exact play at you again. It's coming again until you stop it. Okay, you can see we're not dominant up front. I mean, we're doing a good job, but we're not super dominant. All right, now, regular personnel, covered up top. Okay. Stop sharing that screen. All right, we good?
Yes, sir.
Now, with that same scheme there, we could take the H's off the field, and that's how we can run downhill triple option as well. And it doesn't change for the O-line. They still get the same call, right? So whether we're pulling 2 H's and kicking and wrapping, or we're lining up with a quarterback and 2 running backs and we're running what we called midline. It's not true midline, but it made sense to them, okay? Or veer off of it. It's the same blocking scheme. So really our zone, the front side of it is the same as counter, dart, GH, all that stuff. So again, that's what allows us to have, 14 different personnel groups and, coming out with 27 different formations and all the things that we've been able to do over the years because the rules are simple. Now we do have one other scheme and it's an ISO scheme. And that's because everybody's like, well, then why don't we just everybody set up on the outside? Well, we do have an ISO scheme that hits A gap. And it sets up similar. We do have that. It's a constraint play for when teams try to set up off tackle or off edge. But that's how we've been able to be as successful as we have been, keeping it very, very simple up front. I want those guys to have the least amount that they have to worry and try to remember. It allows us to get more reps, and that's why we can technically not line up in something like we talked about and but still be able to run stuff because the rules are so simple up front.
Yeah. Coach, one question I have, and I know you have a billion formations. Have you ever done any just why stuff to the HH? Where you have two guys next to each other at tight end, and you have your backside receivers are off?
Yes, we have. I had to think about it for a second. Yeah, so you're basically taking like tackle, guard, center, guard, tackle, tight end, tight end.
Yes.
Yeah, we have. And usually though, what I'll do is that backside tackle is a Y, and it's center, guard, tackle Y. Yep. So that now you have to still account for the fact that, look, if I put 2 receivers over there, technically I got trips that you still have to account for. And then I've got guard, tackle, tight end. So I've got 4 linemen, to the field there that I can utilize. So yeah, that's how we would do it. I wouldn't put 2 exact tight ends beside each other. I would make sure that teams had that other option that they had to defend.
Love it. Well, because we still got some time before Coach Simmons comes on.
Okay.
If you have anything else you want to talk about, you want to get into anything, or
let's see where it's at. I won't go over the stuff that Rap would kill me for.
Yeah.
Trying to see, you know what I could do? Let me find it real quick, and I can actually show a little bit of what I was talking about as far as the option stuff back to it. A lot of it's similar to what we saw earlier today, but I can still, it's the same type of blocking schemes up front. I'm getting good at doing this now. There we go. Yep. So let's see here. Let's go full. Like I said, this isn't fully what that was, but some of these in here I'll have to kind of skip through it. But all right, same deal. So now we're running what we call midline. All right, we're reading the outside man, which is here. Once he walks up, we're treating him as the end man on the line of scrimmage. Okay. There's some of our triple stuff off of it. Honestly, should have pitched right here, but I guess he thought he had him beat inside. That's more of our insert. The H is inserting off this triple. Same play coming again. This is conference championship game that year. All we're trying to do, he's inserting, he's still reading outside. Okay, but this is going to be, he's reading here. We had 21 attacking off the edge for the pull just in case. He wanted to give it and go. Now, some of these aren't pretty. These are definitely not clinic film. All right, that was more ISO, sorry. Here's us lining up in the wishbone, Coach.
Of course you are.
Look, we're gonna do whatever we have to do. All right, here's actually a good view of. So this is 21 personnel, but we've got an H back, and now it's H counter. So we're going to flash with the fullback, give it to the running back going this way. We're down, 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 and the H is kicking the edge. Now, 64 is a freshman. He's still lost at this point in time. Kid's actually phenomenal offensive lineman now. But you can still see how this would have hit if right. And it still is a great play. But, 64 should have been blocking down to the backer, which would allow 15 to have a better angle. Okay, but we flash. They just send the house on us. He hits the seam. This one wasn't good because we messed up. All right, same play. Play action off stuff. It's like slot fades. Or trying to get some of the good runs here. There's that counter play from earlier. 21 doing a terrible job of getting in there to help. So here was something that, okay, and this one's kind of not necessarily sound, but it was something that we've noticed. This kid flew upfield. So we actually blocked everybody down and handed off backside. We ended up hitting it for a little bit more later. Here's double H's again. I think we saw that one.
And took themselves up.
Yeah, and that's a lot of times, we're getting teams that are afraid or trying to box that they'll take themselves out of play. That's more the ISO. This downhill. Again, with the quarterback that we had, just kind of talking about the different backfield stuff. With this kid being more of a receiver, honestly playing quarterback, we had to move the pocket with him and just get quick throws on the edge. This right here is one of those where it's like, hey, good job. Don't ever do that again. It's supposed to be dart like a wineback where we were going same side it and he counters back. My quarterback, for some reason, followed it, and then he pitches it to the quarterback.
Oh, my gosh.
one of those things where it's like I love these kids, but then sometimes they drive me nuts.
Yeah.
Again, backfield. I should really go show you the behind the backwards pass that he completed in the playoff game a couple years ago. All right, so quarterback was reading here again. It's younger guys are messing up. All right, so here's a good play action off of our outside load lead option. All right, so fullback's leading off the edge. We're making this look like we're running load option, lead option wide, but instead we run slot fade with it. Okay, because this kid's in a bind. What does he do? All right, is he coming downhill for pitch, or is he running vertical with the receiver? The way that we set it up looks a lot like our load option. Yeah. And then we just throw it over top.
Is that I'll give him a shout out. Is that against Tanner's defense?
Yes, it is.
Oh, bless him.
Yep. Now, here we go. So here's some more of, okay. So 2-back, all right, H-back. This is what we call veer. So veer for us was to the fullback. And then midline was to the pistol back because he was coming straight downhill. Getting through some of these clips that are not the best ones. I saw that one already. So this is load option actually. So you can see how the beginning of the play looks exactly like when we threw the touchdown earlier. All right. Late pitch. And then that kid goes all the way. Here we go. Here's a midline with an insert by the H. But again, it's still our same principles. Okay. And these are all backups in the game at this time, so it's a little bit off. But we were up, and these were the backups that were in. Seen that one. Yeah, I think we're coming on. Oh, here you go. Go set with tight end and a wing. That's not the one I want. I ran one that was like a triple out of that. Some of these are not good. Okay, not good film, but you kind of see what I think this one's actually. This is a battle, and you can see. I mean, I'm not showing you great film here. We do a bad job. That's the wrong one. Sorry, there's another one that was, we fumbled the pitch. Here we go. This one I was thinking earlier. So this kid's receiver, just wildcat quarterback. Same principles, blocking down. Pitch off the edge. But it stays the same up front. You know, they're blocking down. This is I think this is the one. Yep. So that first session when we was talking about how the tag to have the tackle release out wide, the H is going to insert. This is it. Midline straight downhill, and the pitch back is going to loop behind. So it's just changing up a little bit of who's going where just to give it a different look. Should have pitched the ball, but this is why we didn't. This is a good one too. This is, we call this a Navy. So this is a 3-back set. So now it's midline left, coming straight downhill. This back's looping. This one's coming outside. Pre-snap, this should have been a pull pitch read because there's nobody. He's picking up the safety. There's nobody out here. He should have pull pitched this, but he didn't. We get it. But if you can see right here, If we pull this and pitch now, he's walking into the end zone. But again, up front, it's the same scheme. They're all blocking down to the front side. So I might see one more good one here, and then we'll let it go. Another way of doing it, we brought the back in motion. Sorry, the receiver in motion. So now the fullback is going to lead. All right. And it's still like midline triple, except now he's the pitch back. Quarterback decides to keep it. But it's the same stuff up front. Block down. So I'll stop there. That should have got us about where we need to be.
Yeah. All right, good. I appreciate you doing that. It's always I always learn something whenever we talk. So that's people you want to surround yourself with. So I really appreciate you for doing this for me.
Yeah, no problem. Appreciate you having me on, like always.
Yes, sir. All right, I'm gonna get Coach Simmons on. I appreciate
Sounds
you.
good.
Yes, sir.